Caitlin Clark reminded everybody who she is in the Fever win over the Wings in what was a blowout victory. One where Clark didn't even shoot the ball well again, but she completely dominated the game and shows the difference between her and everyone else through her playmaking.
That's what it is. The Indiana Fever get a win today versus the Atlanta Dream, 99-82. Caitlin Clark with a near double-double, 12 points, 9 assists.
A few weeks ago, the Indiana Fever looked like a team in crisis, disconnected, disjointed, and on the verge of collapse. The locker room was tense, the chemistry was non-existent, and fans were beginning to wonder if Caitlin Clark had walked into a situation too toxic to fix. But then everything changed. Clark didn't just step up, she transformed the entire franchise from the inside out. With one blowout win over the Dallas Wings, she silenced the critics, exposed the internal dysfunction, and proved that the WNBA's future isn't coming, it's already here. This isn't just a comeback story, it's a full-blown basketball revolution. And it all starts with the quiet, brutal leadership of Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark has reignited the Indiana Fever with a level of control and leadership that can't be measured by points alone, and in their recent blowout win against the Dallas Wings, she reminded everyone exactly why she's not just a prospect or a standout rookie, she's the central figure in one of the most compelling turnarounds in modern WNBA history. Her shooting may not have been perfect that night, but her impact stretched far beyond the scoreboard. From the moment the game tipped off, Clark dictated the rhythm, adjusted the pace, and carved open lanes that didn't exist before. Her passes were not just smart, they were predictive. Her presence changed the geometry of the court, forcing defenders to stretch wider and react faster. And in doing so, she created opportunities that didn't appear in any playbook. While others were waiting for the Fever to collapse under pressure, Clark calmly organized the offense like a conductor guiding a symphony, proving that a true star doesn't need to drop 40 to own the game. She became the gravitational center around which the Fever's offense orbited, and her authority, unspoken but unmistakable, shifted the game's dynamic before the second quarter even began. And as she moved through the game with quiet confidence, it became clear that this wasn't a temporary hot streak. This was a new reality. Caitlin Clark isn't adjusting to the WNBA anymore. The league is adjusting to her. But to truly understand the magnitude of this shift, you have to look back just a few weeks. The Indiana Fever's locker room was in a state of quiet chaos. Behind closed doors, tension simmered like an unwatched pot, ready to boil over at any moment. The team looked disconnected on the floor, their body language stiff and hesitant. What should have been a space of mutual trust and high-level coordination felt more like a group of reluctant coworkers stuck in a mandatory team-building retreat. Smiles were rare. Eye contact was fleeting. The ball didn't move freely, and neither did the players. Coaches tried to plug holes with strategic tweaks, but it was clear that the real problem was deeper: a lack of cohesion, a vacuum of trust. Whispers about cliques and internal divisions started to leak, painting the picture of a fractured team unsure of who it wanted to be. Fast forward to today, and that same locker room feels like a completely different universe. Now, laughter echoes through warm-ups. Players cheer for each other, not just out of duty, but because they genuinely want to see each other win. The chemistry is undeniable, and it's showing up in the little things: extra passes, hustle plays, help defense. A team once bogged down by uncertainty has found its voice, and that voice, more often than not, belongs to Caitlin Clark. The difference isn't just tactical, it's cultural, and it's spreading like wildfire. A major catalyst in this transformation was the quiet yet seismic exit of Dana Bonner. While officially described as a roster move, those close to the team understand it was something much more significant. Bonner entered the season with experience and expectations, but something didn't click. Her playing style clashed with the team's evolving identity, and her presence, both on and off the court, became a growing point of friction. She came in expecting to lead but refused to adapt, operating as though her past credentials would automatically earn her current respect. That disconnect became impossible to ignore. As Clark's influence grew, so did the tension. Bonner wanted to be the centerpiece in a system already built around someone else, and that led to missed opportunities, stunted plays, and uncomfortable dynamics. The Fever front office tried to hold out hope that something would shift, but the writing was on the wall. When they finally released her, it wasn't just a strategic decision, it was a release of emotional pressure. The move didn't just open up minutes, it cleared the air. Teammates who had been walking on eggshells could finally breathe. Practices got lighter, communication improved, and the energy around the team shifted shifted almost overnight. The Fever didn't just lose a player, they shed a shadow that had been blocking the light. And what followed was nothing short of a rebirth. The decision to bring Ari McDonald back into the mix added another crucial layer to the Fever's resurgence. Unlike Bonner, McDonald didn't come in with fanfare or ego. She brought grit, hustle, and an unrelenting motor. Her return was welcomed not because of what she said but because of how she played. She dove for loose balls, fought through screens, picked up full court, and brought a level of defensive intensity that had been sorely lacking. McDonald's play wasn't glamorous, but it was contagious. She set the tone, and others followed. Her unselfish approach helped balance the backcourt, allowing Clark to focus more on distributing and less on bailing out possessions. The two complemented each other in a way that felt natural, not forced. And while McDonald may not be a headline grabber, her impact has been undeniable. She made the Fever tougher, faster, and more cohesive. Her insertion into the lineup stabilized the rotation and gave the second unit purpose. In a league where chemistry often determines outcomes more than raw talent, McDonald's return may have been the most underrated move of the season. But if Clark is the team's brain and McDonald is its spine, then Sophie Cunningham is undoubtedly its heart. The energy, emotion, and fire she brings can't be measured in box scores. Cunningham has become the vocal leader this team didn't realize it needed. She's loud, unfiltered, and utterly committed. She pumps up teammates, confronts poor effort, and leads every celebration like it's Game 7. More importantly, she understands the value Clark brings and has positioned herself as a bridge between the rookie phenom and the rest of the roster. While others initially saw Clark as a threat to the established hierarchy, Cunningham recognized her as the future and chose to align rather than resist. That decision has paid massive dividends. She translates Clark's vision, celebrates her successes, and ensures that everyone buys in. During timeouts, she's often seen talking to multiple teammates, directing energy, keeping focus high. She's the emotional barometer of this team, and right now, she's running hot, in the best way possible. Cunningham has become more than a contributor. She's the engine that keeps the team emotionally invested, and without her, the Fever's transformation wouldn't be complete. Clark's own metamorphosis has been one of the most captivating storylines in the league. Early in the season, she often looked like a guest in her own locker room, talented, but out of sync. That narrative is now dead. Clark has assumed her place as the undisputed leader of the Indiana Fever, and she's done it not with bravado but with brilliance. Her passes are no longer hopeful, they're expected. Her calls on the floor are followed without question. And when the game is on the line, the ball finds her hands without hesitation. She's developed a rhythm with her teammates that only comes through trust built under pressure. She sees the floor in layers, anticipating movements before they happen. Her timing is impeccable, and her feel for the moment is rare. Even her critics have gone silent as her leadership becomes more obvious with every game. Clark has grown into the role organically, and now the team doesn't just play for her, they play through her. What we're witnessing isn't just a player getting comfortable, it's a superstar taking the throne. This rise in leadership has had a ripple effect. The entire team is now operating on a different frequency. Their pace is quicker, their execution sharper. Defensive rotations that once looked sluggish now snap into place. Off-ball movement is purposeful. Players are cutting with confidence, knowing that if they're open, the ball will find them. There's a sense of urgency that wasn't there before, a collective understanding that this team isn't just fighting for respect anymore. They're fighting for playoff position. The Fever have developed a swagger, a belief that they belong. They're no longer hoping to win, they expect to, and that mental shift has made them dangerous. Suddenly, every game feels winnable. Every deficit feels surmountable. They're playing with a chip on their shoulder and joy in their step, a combination that's hard to beat. And the supporting cast has risen to the occasion. Kelsey Mitchell is delivering consistent offense with machine-like precision. Boston is anchoring the defense and dominating the paint. Hull is spacing the floor and draining threes like she's immune to pressure. Even Natasha Howard, once criticized for her inconsistency, is now contributing with efficiency and purpose. The entire roster is clicking, and it's because Clark has found a way to amplify everyone's strengths. This isn't just chemistry, it's orchestration. Every piece is playing its part, and the result is a team that looks and feels unstoppable. What once seemed like a rebuilding year has turned turned into something far more exciting, a full-blown playoff push. Clark's stats continue to validate her impact. She's now in the top 5 for double-doubles with points and assists, a remarkable feat given she's still new to the league. But those numbers only scratch the surface. Her full-court vision, her ability to anticipate defensive shifts, her calm under pressure, all of it points to a player far ahead of her years. She doesn't just play the game. She sees it from above, manipulating the pieces in real time. Her ability to deliver pinpoint passes in transition, especially to players like Cunningham and Mitchell, creates fast break opportunities out of thin air. And in the half court, her pick and roll reads are elite. She knows when to pull back, when to attack, and when to feed the hot hand. There's a maturity in her decision making that makes it easy to forget she's still in her first year. But perhaps most impressive is how she's turned a franchise's expectations on its head. Clark was expected to be good. She's been great, and her trajectory suggests she's just getting started. Now the conversation shifts to what's possible. Could this team make a deep playoff run? Could Clark lead the Fever to a championship far sooner than anyone imagined? Just a month ago, those questions would have sounded delusional. Now they sound overdue. The Fever are playing like a top-tier squad, and with each win, the belief grows stronger. The league is on notice. What Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are building isn't temporary. It's sustainable, it's real, and it's coming faster than anyone expected. The rest of the WNBA had better prepare, because this team isn't just hot, they're setting the standard.